In 1945, a sphere of plutonium was created for an atomic bomb. But that's completely unrelated. For now. Whiteboxing is, in my opinion, the best and quickest method to bring a game from being a concept into a reality. During the whiteboxing stage, we, as designers, can get a feel of the game, completely unobstructed by visual or audio polish. I've been working on this whitebox, which you can demo in the description, for the past 2 or so months. Its purpose is to allow the player to combine different ingredients to create a baked good. For example, you can mix flour and butter in a 1-to-1 ratio to create a roux. But how can a computer work that out? As I see it, there are 2 components to this system, and the first is a recipe ranking. Similar to real-world baking, this game has recipes based on ratios, or rather percentages. While tarts and crumble share the same basic ingredients, the percentages of the ingredients are quite different. Thus, a prediction can be made by a human, or in our case, a computer, as to which recipe the mixture is closest to. The second challenge is to make the back-end code a little less intensive. This white box has 7 different recipes to sort through and test, which definitely isn't too much for a computer to handle. However, when more recipes are added and that number hits 20, 30 and beyond, it might get a bit taxing on the game system. So, when I was thinking of potential sorting methods, I remembered a game I used to play as a kid. Guess Who was created by Aura and Theo Koster in 1979. It involves 2 players trying to figure out which character the other has picked. 9 years ago, almost to the day, YouTube educator and scientist Mark Rober made a video exploring a method to vastly increase your chances of winning at Guess Who. His method has the player ask the broadest possible questions. In our case, does the mixture contain flour? If yes, then it can be a wide range of options. Alternatively, if it contains water or milk, some of the options seem to repeat. This means there would have to be multiple of the same solution scattered across the game's code. This realization caused a pretty major design pivot. Rather than asking broad questions, which have numerous versions of the same solution, but works in real life, the system instead should ask more narrow questions. This breaks up the categorization into 5 discrete sections. These can then be added to and expanded at a later date, to allow for even more specific options. Okay, so you've made your mixture. There are a few in-between steps, but we'll skip them for now and go straight to the baking. The basic formula for cooking is as follows. The cooked amount of a product is equal to temperature multiplied by time. Using our shortbread example from earlier, the cooked amount would equal 189,000. But there is another important element of cooking. Ovens don't purely transfer radiation energy, unlike this core of plutonium. Instead, ovens also heat the air around a product in a process called convection. This crisps up and gives baked goods a darker exterior. To emulate this, the higher the oven temperature and the longer it is cooked, the more a product will crisp. So it should look something like this. Anyways, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, consider sticking around. I'll be back in 31 days for a discussion on art style and visual development in games. See you then.